Unique things to do in Homestead: visit this wildlife rescue park and meet every animal from a Florida panther to a zebra. The Everglades Outpost has been here since 1991, and they're a non-profit rescue and rehabilitation facility. Each animal that's here has its own story of how it ended up at the sanctuary. Some were injured in the wild and brought in for rehabilitation. Others were confiscated from illegal, traumatic, or abusive situations. For instance, Sable, their Florida panther, was born in captivity, and her parents were actually confiscated during a drug bust. Because she was raised in captivity and the owners had removed her claws, they no longer can release her, but they are able to use her as an ambassador for her species, which is endangered here in Florida. Sable was actually raised here with a chocolate lab that they rescued as a puppy in the Everglades, and they're still besties, which is pretty unique. However, Everglades Outpost takes in both native and non-native animals. If an animal's healed and rehabilitated, it's going to be released into the wild if it is native. Otherwise, they'll try to find a better home for them because this is a sanctuary, not a zoo, so there's always going to be new animals coming and going. This place is actually run completely by volunteers who just want to help the animals, and they rely on donations and visitors like us to afford the surgeries, food, and anything else that the animals here need. So Everglades Outpost is open from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday through Sunday. We got our self-guided tickets online for $15 per adult before arriving. Once there, you can also add on different experiences like feeding the gators, donkeys, wolves, zebra, or camel. We did the gator feeding for $12, and I will say it was pretty cool. They have a lot of nuisance alligators here that were rehomed. Basically, this happens when people don't follow the laws and feed wild animals like gators, and then they start to see people as a source for food and become labeled as a nuisance gator. Then the government has to go in and take them out of the wild. Unfortunately, if it wasn't for wildlife rehabilitation places like this, these gators would have to be euthanized. So if you're looking for a unique place to meet some new animals in Homestead, I would recommend heading to this small nonprofit for an experience that helps give back to different species. I have a ton of more local recs around South Florida coming your way, so don't forget to follow along for more.